Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing on today? Let me just tell you, your girl, I am super duper excited because not only do we get to talk about the new release Echo, but we get to hang out with Tracy Clark. Y'all already know Tracy Clark is a fan. She is an author fave here at the cafe, and she is bringing us some amazing books in the Detective Harriet Foster series. I mean, guys, first of all, she hit us with a headliner with Hyde, then there was Fall, and now there is Echo in that order. Oh my goodness. And Tracy, and thank you so much for joining us here at the cafe on today, my friend. They are coming on in. And of course, guys, if you're just joining us, you already know what to do. Like, tag, and share. Tell a friend and tell a friend to come on down to the cafe because we're hanging out with author Tracy Clark on today. And we're talking about her hot off the press new release, Echo. I love it. I love it. We have author Sharon Blunt that is hanging out with us on today. We have Letitia hanging out with us on today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And of course, Tracy Clark, introduce yourself to the people, my friend.
Well, I'm Tracy Clark. There you go. I'm good. Let's do it.
I love it. Look, Tracy, and I'll give them a little behind the scene, y'all. Okay, so before we went live, I was already going in. I was like, you know what? We'll talk later. We'll talk later because I just wanted to let Tracy know how much I enjoyed Echo. Now, guys, if you have been following along, okay, she hit us with Hyde. That is the very first book in the series. Okay, this is Detective Harriet Foster. And then she came with Fall. And now it is Echo. Guys, if you have not grabbed a hold of this series, let me just tell you, I'm going to need you to go and grab it. And not only that, guys, is it available in ebook and print, but guys, the audiobook. So for my audiobook lovers out there, Shantae McCormick, not only did Tracy Clark bring it, guys, I told her behind the scenes she did her good writing. She always does her good writing, guys, but she did her good writing. And not only that, narrator, Shantae McCormick did an amazing job with the narration of this book as well. We have LaShawn that is joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. Tracy is here with us. And so Tracy, we're going to get into it because I'm just excited just thinking about it. And I remember when I was reading it, when I was listening to it, I did both. I listened and I was reading it or what have you. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, Tracy has done it again. And I want to start because you know I love these amazing covers that you have. But this one is a little bit different. And guys, let me tell you, if you know anything about this series, the attention is in the details with these covers too. I mean, Tracy be having little clues in the covers, but this one is Echo. As y'all can see, it is lots of snow. Okay. And there is something that happens in the snow as well. And then of course, y'all know is the backdrop of Chicago. It is super cold in Chicago as well. But Tracy, tell us about the cover of Echo.
Well, I wish I could say I had something to do with it, but it was all the publishing house. Their art department is fantastic. I like the skyline of Chicago because that's sort of a character in the series.
Yes.
I like the fact that they got the snow in there because a Chicago winter is sort of a special thing. We sort of have the the corner on misery, and so I like the thread too. So the thread is sort of frayed, isn't it? And it's
yes.
sort of two cases. We've got two murders 30 years apart, but they're connected. And the frayed thread sort of indicates that there's something going on with that. So I kind of like how they sort of wove all of that stuff together. And I think it fits the story perfectly. And bravo to them.
Yes, it does. It does. And and Tracy, we're going to talk about something that you just mentioned as well about that is multiple murders or what have you in multiple cases, because that was something that I caught on to too. And I absolutely love that. I was here for all of it. But before we do that, I also have to talk about these titles. So guys, if you've noticed, in each one of the books, it's just one word. So there was Hyde, Fall, Echo. Okay. And guys, once you've read the story, the title would definitely make a little more sense. But can you tell us about Echo and if it was your initial working title? And I think last time on the cafe, you actually spilled a little bit of tea and you was able to tell us the name of the book that was
Mhm.
coming next. But tell us about the title, Echo.
Well, echo sort of goes back to those murders, right? The first murder or the second murder is an echo of the first. And it also has to do with Harriet too, because she is sort of dealing with something that keeps reverberating in her life. And so
Yes.
that's a second echo. So it's sort of a double sort of a thing, the personal thing for her, and also the case. She's dealing with some stuff. She wants some answers. She gets a few of them. There's still a couple that are left sort of hanging at the end, but I pick them up in the next book. So that's sort of my way of sort of getting you to sort of come back. So, a couple of answers, one still outstanding, and then maybe you'll sort of hang out for the fourth one, see what happens.
I love now see, Tracy, you spilling tea already. You spilling
Yeah,
tea already. You letting the
sure.
people know that there is another book. And guys, let me tell you, with the way this one end, Tracy, I'm already on the edge of my seat. I mean, if you
That's
need a
good.
beta reader, I mean, just let me know because
I will.
I am so ready with the way that this book ends. But let's go back to this conversation because let me tell you, Tracy, I love the way you did that. Guys, it is almost like you have three cases in one. And the reason that I'm saying three cases, because one, you have the two cases. Tracy just she shared with us a little bit about there is a 30-year-old case that the current case that happens is kind of echoing off that, and they're kind of linked. But then Detective Harriet Foster, remember, if you've been following along with Hide and Fall, she has her beloved partner that she is still dealing with that, and the way that that case went is just not sitting right with her, as well, with with what happened. And then there's also these clues that she's continuing to get, and then there's this individual that's inserting himself in an entanglement in her life about that case, so she just can't let it go, or what have you. So you have that case going on. And let me just tell you, and I'm gonna let Tracy chime in just a bit. If you have read Hide and you have read Fall, oh, all I can say is the plot thickens, okay, when it comes to what happened to her partner. So, Tracy, spill some tea. What was that like for you writing it? Because again, you have the cases that they're trying to solve, but in addition to that, she has a personal case that she's trying to solve as well.
Well, when you write series, you sort of have to sort of pull the thread through, right? So when we start, we meet her in Hyde. She's got some serious stuff to deal with. Some of it she sort of gets a little better at in the
Yeah.
second book, and maybe even in Echo too. But there's a thread that runs through them. So she has this case or her case, but she has an understanding of her partner, and she knows who she rode with for I don't know how many years. She knows the woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when this sort of pops up for her, she knows right off the bat that that's not what happened, and so now she wants the answers, and she sort of follows through with those despite the fact that she's got all the other stuff that she's got to deal with. She will not let this go. She's like a dog with a bone, and she follows it through and gets closer and closer. And then she gets to a point where it comes to a head, not because of something she has done, but because of the person that you say inserted himself into the situation. And so now we've got that, her case. Her new team that she's working with, her partner that won't give her a day's rest. She's always
Yes.
she's come on, get out of my business. I mean, so that's what she's dealing with. She's got all of these plates spinning, and this case with this unanswered question still lingering, and she wants the answer to that. Now she wants to do her job perfectly great. She's dedicated cop, fine, but she wants the answer to this, and she's not going to stop until she gets it. So in Echo, we have a little bit of a dance between the two of them, and then it ends in a way that she's not sad about. And there is maybe a little tease that maybe she had something to do with it. So we'll have to see
Ooh,
how that.
child. Tracy, you better spill the tea. Guys, if you are not, let me tell you, you got to listen carefully because I'm listening carefully, and every bit of tea that Tracy is putting down, I am picking up. Okay. Oh my goodness, Tracy. Let me just tell you one of the things, and I want to share what Sharon Blunt said. One, she says she's excited that there's another book, but she also says that she loved how complicated that Harriet is. And I want to speak on that a little bit because, guys, if you've been following this series, and Tracy, I want you to kind of share your input on this.
Mhm.
I really love how you are pulling back the layers of who Harriet is and what makes her tick, what makes her move, all of those things. And in each book, her character is definitely moving along, but there's more layers that is pulled back in each book. And I like the fact that Sharon was saying that she's complicated, because yeah, I mean, think about it, guys. She has her job, and then sometimes there's even some moments where she's teetering of what's ethically right, you
Right.
know,
Right.
work wise, and then personally, how how you will want to handle things, but then having to do things by the book, or what have you too. But what was that like for you in writing Detective Harriet Foster, and also pulling back the layers for us as readers to get to know her and get connected with her?
Mhm.
And y'all, and she at moments she's real and she's raw. And one of the things that I enjoy about your writing, Tracy, is that you do write relatable characters. And guys, even though this is psychological thriller and it's mystery, it's police procedural, and you hit the nail every time with these books. But again, she's a real person, you know? So what's that like for you of bringing the complexity of Harriet's character to us?
Well, that's probably what takes me the most time because I want her to be a real person. I want all of my characters to be people that if you walked outside of your house every day, you could find people like that on the street. I wanted them to look real, feel real, sound real, move real. And I gave her complexity because I wanted her to be a complex character because we all are complex. We're not sort of, this single layered kind of a person. We've got all of these things spinning in our lives. And Harriet is no different from that. I mean, she's got all of these things that I've given her, and then she still has to do her job. She still has to sort of deal with her family. She still has to deal with her new partner. She's got to do all. We don't live in a linear sort of fashion. Nobody does. And I didn't want my book people to be that kind of people anyway. I wanted them to have all of these complications and all of these stresses, all of these things pulling at them. She's dealing with grief, loss, sense of responsibility, things that she might have missed that she didn't realize she. I mean, all of these things. An ex husband. I've given her things that we have. All of us have. We don't sort of live uncluttered or uncomplicated lives. We don't. And I didn't want my book people to be those kind of people either. So I've given her a lot, but she sort of met the occasion. I think most of the time she has her moments where she sort of falters, as we all do. But I wanted her to be real. I wanted Vera to be real. I wanted Smansky and all of them to be real, so that the readers sort of kind of connected with them and sort of understand them and sort of feel for them. So I think I would like to put her in a position where the reader sort of wants to stick around to see whether or not she gets better, whether or not she sort of gets out of the hole she's in, whether or not Vera is able to pull her out because she's doing her job. I mean, she's doing the best she can. Up to these 3 books, they've asked her, well, Harriet, how are you doing? How do you feel? I'm fine. It's always been fine, right?
Yes.
It's a way of pushing people away and getting people out of her business. I'm fine. And then this 3rd book, we get to a point where she's gotten to the point where Vera asks her that question, how you doing? And she says, not good.
Not good.
But that's progress. And then she said, oh, great, finally, progress. And it is
Yes.
for her, okay, because she's in a different spot than she was in book 1 and book 2. In book 3, she's got to make a move. She's got to realize that she is not fine and that she's got to do something about it. And so that's where we are at the end of Echo. And when we found her in book 4, which I'm writing now, and I have a couple of months to finish that, she's in a different place still. Because now that she's made that progress, what happens? Which way does she go? Does she go this way or that? Or, what does she do with progress? And
Yes. I love that. I love that. And one of the things that I want to talk about, and we're going to talk about the characters in just a little bit. And yes, guys, Tracy is going to read a little short snippet for us as well. But one of the things in all 3 of the books, and definitely in Echo, family is also a backdrop, and family is like dual because, of course, she has her family, like her mom and her brother, or what have you. But then she also have her police family, the other detectives that she's working with. And we even see in Echo that they show up. Look, when they need to, they like, wait a minute, you ain't gonna, we got you. Especially her partner Vera Lee, and we gotta talk about Vera. You gotta love Vera, guys. You gotta love Vera Lee, and Samansky. I mean, all of them. They show up when they need to show up. But talk about that a little bit too. The importance of you showing that the different aspects of what family truly is in Echo.
Well, I mean, family doesn't let you go on most times, right? I mean, you can have the worst possible time you're having, but family is always there, or should be. And so her mother sees her. She's given her distance, right? I mean, she's had all these losses. Her mother understands that. She's had losses of her own, but she's gotten to a point where she says, "That's it," as only your mother can tell you. Okay, I gotta tell you how to run your life, but this is it. I'm not going to my grave with you in this position. We're going to have to do something different. You have a choice to make. Let's do it. And so they don't let you sort of off the hook. And the her police family are the same, because now they have to sort of depend on you. It's not just that they want to see you better, because they do. They like you. They want you to live your best life, but they also depend on you. So when they go out in that street and face whatever they're going to face, they want to know that you behind them or in front of them or wherever the heck you are, that your head is on straight and you're going to be there if something happens. Okay, so it's not just a sort of a professional thing, but it's also a personal thing. But you have to be straight. And they sort of keep on her more attention than she probably wants or thinks she needs. But they're there, and she's got to either go through them or around them, but she cannot get away from them. So I kind of like the fact that she's got that pressure. Still, another thing she has to deal with, the fact that people won't leave her alone, because they realize that leaving her alone is leaving her to die, basically.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. And I think the first time we meet her in the first book, her boss even says, "Do not let me find you hanging from a pipe in the bathroom by your belt." Right?
Yeah.
So they realize that that's a possibility. They've seen it before. They're not going to let it happen this time. And so they're sticking with Harriet because Harriet is worth it. And they're going to make sure that she does not end up that way. So she's got all of that. I like the mess. I like the multi-layered thing about it. I like the fact that they're on her 24/7. I like the fact that they don't give her a break. I like the fact that even though she tells Vera and lay off, I mean, she will not. She will not.
Yeah.
And so I like the fact that that is there. So, I've given Harriet a lot to deal with. I kind of like that. It's interesting for me to write it that way, and I hope it's interesting for readers to sort of read it, to see that, it's not all perfect. She's flawed, she's vulnerable, she's strong, she's intelligent, she's all of that stuff, but she's also a human being, or as human as I can make her.
And Tracy, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because let me just tell you, we are so here for it. We are so here for it as well. And I want to answer LaShawn's question. She wanted to know which book is first. And so LaShawn, the very first book in the series is called Hide. And then the second book in the series is called Fall. And then the book that we're talking about today is called Echo. And they are all available now. They're available in ebook. They're available in print. They're available in audio as well. And of course, we will have links of where you can get a copy of these three books. And of course, Tracy did spill some tea. So we know that there is a book 4 that she is working on now as well. And they are giving you love. Letitia is saying that she loved multi-layered characters like this as well. Me too, Letitia, me too. And Tracy, we got to talk about this, because even though the family side of it with Harriet and on the police side, even with this particular case that they got to solve, it's some family stuff. It's almost like, like the sins of a father, the sins of family, things like you said. I mean, there is like a 30-year-old case that now is into present day that is somehow connected as well. And then there is some family dynamics in that as well. But when you started working on Echo, did you know going in, because this was a little different. This one takes place, the first part of it takes place, guys. And let me tell you, she hit you with a headliner. It starts early. Y'all know, if you read Tracy Clark books, the case opens up early in the book or what have you, but it takes place on a college campus. What was that like?
It was great. I mean, a lot happens on a college campus, as we all know. We've been there. So I found the field first. It's a real place. That campus is a real place. I just
Okay.
named it something different. So it starts with me with a location of where I'm going to put my first victim. So it started with the field. Then I put the frat house there. It's not there usually. Something else is there, but I made it a frat house. And then I sort of build the setting around that. The empty field, body there. The fact that it's connected to another case came sort of later because I'm a pantser. I don't have an outline going forward. I just start where Harriet starts, page one, first sentence. I put my body there. What happens? The cops show up. Here comes Harriet. And then we go from there. So I have sort of build it. It's sort of building a block on top of a block on top of a block. That's how the stories sort of work for me. So it starts with the body. I build a block on top of that, the investigation. You're always trying to sort of raise the stakes, make it more complicated, make it more interesting. So block upon block upon block. Then the second murder sort of came to me, and I sort of made it 30 years in the past. And then what would connect those two things? I don't know. We talk about justice. We talk about what vengeance is, what retribution might mean to certain people as opposed to others. Even Harriet sort of waffles with this too. She's a law person. Okay, she has to follow the law. Yet, because of her past and what has happened there, she sort of understands how this might have all jumped off. Okay, so she has that. Maybe I don't know. It's not. Maybe it's technically against the law, but I can sort of see where you're coming from. Because she's in that sort of same situation with her own self. So I kind of like to churn it around, get as much tension and conflict and stuff as I can get in there. And if I can build more complication and more stakes and make it more messy, I'm going to do it. So that's where the sort of three plate spinning comes into play. I mean, she's got all of these distractions, all of these things in her head, all these things she has to deal with, and still she does her job. She still finds the murderer. She still has to deal with Vera. you know. I mean, and it's not like Vera is a bad person. No, she's exactly the person that she needs at the point she's at.
She sure is. She sure
doesn't appreciate the fact that there she is, like a duck sort of gnawing on her underpants, will not let her go. Okay, and she doesn't know how to deal with that.
I love it. I love it. And the thing that I like about Vera, guys, you will fall in love with Vera. Okay. Vera, look, she gonna say what's on her mind. She gonna tell you like it is. And she even brings that little comedic action to it as well. But one of the things that you can definitely say about Vera, oh, she's gonna have her partners back. I mean, even if it's borderline, they gonna get chewed out by the chief. Vera's like, I'm in. Like we doing this? Are we doing this?
And that's what you want. You want somebody who's gonna take your part. I mean, you're both in trouble at this point. At the end of this book, they're both basically in trouble. Okay,
but exactly.
Neither one's going to be the one that punks out. All right, so they have to
right.
together, or they're out of it together, and they do make the choice that works for them, not so much for the boss. So I kind of like that.
I love it. And one of the things that I want to talk about, and of course, guys, I'm gonna let Tracy read a little snippet in just a bit here, so hold tight. But I want to talk about some of the other characters in Echo. And one of the things that really I really enjoyed is when they had to go and and investigate, and they had to question the witnesses and stuff like that. Oh my goodness. There is one of the scenes, I think two of them are my favorite, when there's a couple of young ladies on the campus. I love that when they had to go and they was going to question them. And all I'm gonna say is somebody take off running, and they was just like, you know what, we ain't chasing them.
Well,
and then
they can't in Chicago.
Right,
in Chicago, there's a no chase policy. Okay, they cannot chase you, or they cannot chase you on foot. They cannot chase you in a car. If you take off running and you are not a threat to anybody, and these two people weren't, bye bye, and they'll have to catch you some other way.
Right.
Smart them the next time, but
exactly. So I love that. I love you writing that in there, and how also the next time they do outsmart them, or what have you. And then, of course, when they had to go back to the apartment of one of the individuals that they were questioning, and the good old neighbor.
Yeah.
Get on, neighbor, across the hall, okay?
We've all had neighbors like that. All right. Yeah, I like that too.
So for you, is that again part of your research when because you write it so well in the police procedural parts or what have you doing their investigations and stuff like that. But I love how you and again, guys, because I mean there's only so many ways you can question people, but I love how you bring it about of them when they have to do the investigation, even when they have to bring people into the station, all of that good stuff. You do it so well in all three of the books or what have you, and also switching it up because sometimes they may have to go back and question, a witness or question an individual a second time. And so for me, it's always nice to see how you do that so cleverly or what have you. And in this particular book, and hopefully you can share some light with us if this is done intentionally. But I know for me, whenever you have that you're questioning the individuals, not only when they're being questioned, but sometimes when the detectives are having like their inner thoughts and when they're kind of like mapping it out at the whiteboard that Harriet like to use. I know for me as the reader, I am so tuned in because I'm also trying to solve this murder. Okay. And you already know, Tracy, I be side-eyeing folks. I'm like, something ain't right. You suspicious. Or what have, but is that done intentionally for you to keep the readers on the edge of our seat and also to keep us in tune to the investigation?
Both cases are true. I want you to sort of enjoy the process. I want the reader to sort of go along with this case, figure out who the suspects are, who's lying, who's telling the truth. I've talked to police officers and they say, oh, they always lie. They always lie. So they expect the lie. Okay, they expect the lie first. And then they sort of drill down and they wait and they question you again and the lie sort of gets a little fainter because now you're getting down to the truth. So you expect the lie first and then they have to figure out where the lie is and figure out what the truth is. And that takes a process. It's not just the first interview. It might take 3 or 4. They might have to come back 3 or 4 times to your house to figure out if maybe at this time is the time you feel like telling the truth. And so now they have a process to go through, figuring out what the lie is, where the lie starts, where it ends. And so I try to put that stuff in it. I'm not so much interested in police work, detailed like which form they fill out or who has to. I'm interested in the emotional part of it, why they do the job they do, what motivates them to keep doing it. And I'm trying to put those little details on the page. I talk to cops and say, well, when we have people in the interview room, we offer them something to drink and a snack or something. I say, really? I mean, what hotel are we in? But anyways, that's how they're not like sitting on you, pouncing on you. It's a process. And so the interview room is there. It smells like sweat and desperation, and it's really tight space. And you're putting there and sort of left to sort of sit for a while to get your thoughts right. And then they will come in there and do their jobs and try to get to the truth and try to figure out what happened and get it all settled and whatever. And so it's a process. I kind of like the way they do it. Good cops do it well. The cops that don't do it well shouldn't be cops in the first place. And I'm writing about good cops. So I'm writing about good police. So that's how Harriet and Vera do it. They are empathetic when they need to be empathetic. They are tough when they need to be tough. And somewhere in between the two of those things, they'll get to the truth.
I love that. I love that. Guys, if you're just joining us, we're hanging out with author Tracy Clark. It's the new one, hot off the press, Echo. Let me just tell you guys, it is edge of your seat. It is fast paced. Pay attention to the details. You would definitely enjoy Echo as well. And of course, guys, Tracy is getting ready to share just a little snippet with us. I'm going to allow her to set the scene, set the tone of what she's getting ready to share. And Tracy, we are ready when you are, my friend.
All right, I will start with chapter 1, and then we'll leave for a couple of minutes and see where we are. Ready? Justice isn't blind. It always peeks beneath the blindfold. How else to smite with the sword those whose thumbs weigh the scales? Justice must see to hold evil to account. It must see as evil sees, to exact retribution. We are justice. They stood together in silence, their jury of 4 outside Hardwick House. Every light inside the Gothic mansion ablaze, the boom and blare of harsh music an affront to the night air. The strangers, clad in black hooded robes, watched through open curtains as lustful young men made plays for coy coeds. How many were already high on cheap beer, skunk weed, and rainbow colored pills of unknown provenance? This was how it began, Justice knew, with short sighted decisions made on a night like this, with one bad choice, one step too far. All it took was one snap for the world to tilt, for a life to end, and for the lives left behind to change and hurtle toward ruin. Someone had to pay. There had to be a reckoning, some recompense. Four watchers, all justice, here to take what was owed. An eye for an eye, a life for a life. Not in a vengeful, heated way, not in an act of passion. Tonight, Justice's blood was cold. Justice's head were clear. They stood in forbidding shadow, trees with barren branches black against the watchful moon, the winter night eerily still, except for the raucous house on the edge of the elite campus.
Woo, child, let me tell y'all that's just how it begins. That is actually leaving you at a cliffhanger because she's actually setting you up for what's to come. Okay. Oh my goodness, Tracy, thank you so much for sharing a little bit of Echo with us. And of course, we have to play a round of this or that, my friend. But because it is the holiday season, it is this or that Christmas edition. Are you ready, my friend?
All right.
Okay, let's get started. Okay, Tracy, are you Christmas ribbon or Christmas bow, or are you Christmas wreath? A Christmas ribbon or Christmas wreath?
You mean on the door or in general?
On the door or in general, either one.
Wreath. You can put it on there and leave it. Okay. Yeah. Wait till
all right. And are you into lights? Are you white lights or the colored lights?
I can do both. It depends.
Okay. Are you into eggnog or hot cocoa? Eggnog or hot cocoa?
Hot cocoa.
Okay. I like
I haven't had eggnog since I was like 6.
Okay. Tracy, Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? Christmas Eve or Christmas Day?
I think Christmas Day. It's quieter. I like
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Tracy, for playing around of this or that with us on today. And of course, guys, there is a giveaway. I'm going to let Tracy Clark share with us what her giveaway is going to be on today.
Well, I'm giving away a signed copy of Echo, so you can read it for yourself, be the judge, let me know how I did.
I love it. And of course, guys, you know what to do. If you have commented in the comment section, you are in the running for a autographed copy of Echo. And of course, author Tracy Clark is going to help me. I'm going to go up and down the comment section and she's going to tell me when to stop. And that person will be the winner of an autographed copy of Echo. All right, let's go. Here we go.
Stop.
Okay. LaShawn Hawks, look at you, my friend. You were asking about which book is first. You will be the winner of a copy of Echo. And of course, LaShawn, if you will inbox me your information, my friend, will be sure to get that information to author Tracy Clark, and you will get your copy, an autographed copy of Echo. Oh my goodness, Tracy, the time goes by so fast, my friend. There's so much I want to talk about. But guys, let me just tell you, this is an edge of your seat good read. You probably want to read it with somebody because you're going to want to talk to somebody as you discover these clues. Because let me tell you, Tracy has some stuff that you do not see coming. There is just all these entanglements in these webs and all of these things that happen in this book that you will literally be on the edge of your seat. Okay. You will be ready to turn the page and knowing what's going to happen next until you get to the very end. And even at the end, okay, I'm just going to tell you this. Tracy sets us up, okay? She sets us up that I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And she still have you questioning some things, okay? She have you questioning some things in a good way, and I love it. And of course, I want to ask you, Tracy, what did you enjoy about writing Echo, book 3 in the Harriet Foster series?
I always enjoyed learning more about her. She's really complicated. It's not like the other characters that I've written before who are sort of, extroverted and out there and sort of living their best lives. Harriet's got some serious stuff, and she's not willing to talk about it a lot, even to me. Most people characters are in your head; they're talking all the time and blah 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 blah. Harriet is not doing that, so I have to sort of go to her and try to dig things out of her. So it's fun for me to try to dig a little bit more, get a little further along as the books go on. I know a little bit more about her as I'm writing this fourth book than I did in the first, so that's good. I'm getting a little closer to the meat of the matter, but there's still a lot that I don't know about her, and it's fun to sort of discovering that as I put her on the page and put her in situations and see how she's going to jump or what she's going to do and how she's going to think and how she's going to feel. So that's the fun part for me, discovering who she is, digging a little deeper, finding out more about her, and then putting it on the page, and hopefully the readers will like that too. So that's the fun part.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. And yes, author Sharon Blunt said no spoilers. No, guys, no spoilers. I cannot give you any spoilers. Let me just tell you, I'll tell you this much. You are in for a treat. You will be so there for the ride. I know I was so there for the ride as well. And of course, Tracy, if you can definitely share with us, how can they get their hands on a copy of Echo? And like we shared with them, guys, it's available in all three formats. So whatever suits your fancy, ebook, audiobook, print book. But Tracy, how can they get them a copy?
Well, Echo is in all those formats. If you've got a good independent bookstore in your area, try there. Have them order it for you. If it's not on the shelves, it's available anywhere. So check it out. Let me know what you feel about it, and email me and we can discuss it.
I love that. I love that. And as well, of course, Tracy, you have to share with our friends, how can they stay connected with you?
Well, let's see. I'm on Blue Sky, and let's see, Facebook and Instagram and all those good things. So just look me up. My picture's right there, and drop me a line.
I love that. I love that. Well, Tracy, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence to talk
Thanks for
about
having
book
me.
3 in this series. And of course, you already know at the cafe, we are ready for you to come back and talk about book 4 as well. Because, guys, she did spill some tea. She did let us know that there is more to come from Harriet Foster and the crew as well, guys. If you're just joining us, we were talking with Tracy Clark on today. Echo is the third book in the series. We'll give you the order again. Book 1 is Hide, book 2 is Fall, and the hot off the press new release is Echo as well. And of course, Tracy, I want to allow you, my friend, to have the last words of what you want to say to the people tonight.
Well, just thanks for having me, Angela. It's always a pleasure to be here. And readers who are not familiar with Harriet, check her out. I mean, she'll give you a good ride.
I love that. I love that. And I second that as well, guys. And thank you so much for joining us on today. And definitely make sure that you're following author Tracy Clark as well. We'll also put the link to her website. We'll put that in the comment section as well. We'll put some links in the comment section of how you can get your hands on a copy of Echo as well. Of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Angela Anderson's YouTube. You can follow me on social media at Angela Anderson Presents. And guys, of course, as we always say here at the cafe, have an amazing day because we're having an amazing day. And until next time, we'll see you later. Be sure to get you a copy of Echo. Bye-bye.